Welcome to Mary's Eclectic Interest. Today we're going to be working with buttons. And here is a sample of what we're going to be making. This is a little button flower. And it's really simple to make. So let's get started on this. I've put quite a few buttons together, but I'm not going to be doing them all at this time anyway. But I was looking at them, and I kind of like this one. So we're going to go with this one. Now there's several things you're going to need for this. First, I needed a ruler. You'll need a wire cutter, and that's to cut the green floral wire. I have no idea what gauge I have for this wire, but it goes through the buttonholes, and that's mainly what is important. I also have the green floral tape. Now there's a few other things that were required for this, but I kind of started with the instructions and didn't like the leaves that were being made, and you had to laminate them and all of this. So I went very simplistic on the leaves, and you'll see where I've gotten them. I had the great idea of using felt. I had this great template for some leaves, and I started with that, and I didn't like that either. And here's where I attempted it. You can see here's where I took one out. I just didn't like how it looked. So what I ended up doing is, I'm going to put this over here. I took some fake flowers that I had, and I pulled these leaves off of them, and I happen to like the look of these leaves. Now I have this wire together because I wanted to keep my buttons in the arrangement that I had and not have to sit here and redo all of these. So let's take this out, and I'll show you how we're going to start with this. And we won't need any of these because I've already used them. Whoops. Now the first thing you're going to do is, when you do your 24-inch length of wire, well, come here now, you're going to bend it in half, like so. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because what you're going to be doing is taking your first button, and you're going to put it through the two holes on that button, and you're going to bring it all the way to the top, just like this. And then go down the line. I believe this is the second button. Now this button has 4 holes. When you have 4 holes, you have to do it a little different. You have to go into each hole on either side, not the same side, the opposite side. And then this one has 2. This one has 2. And this one again has 4. And this is a little easier to see. I'm going to put one through this hole, and then one through the one over here, across from it. Not the same side, across from each other. Oops, he's got a little twisted here. And that happens with this wire. There it goes. Okay. Now this is all together. Look at this. Really simple. You're just going to twist it in the back as tight as you can. And then you're going to have to twist it all the way down, all the way to the end. Now I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot because it says to use pliers and crimp it between and then twist. And I had trouble with that. So I thought, let's try something else. And I'm going to try putting a button with a button, and I'm just going to start twisting and see if I can get it. Yep, it is working. So if you put another button on the bottom, look at this. I have a button here and a button here. I'm going in opposite directions. And this is twisting it. And then bring your button, oops, a little bit of a problem here because it twisted behind it too, a little bit. So this is, you have to keep that out of the way. But otherwise, I think it's going to work. So let's keep this here and keep it apart. And then keep going. Now I might have to go back and, oops, there we go. And it doesn't have to be perfectly real tight because you're going to be putting this over it. I found this worked out really good. Actually, it's getting quite tight. But then I find I have a problem with it turning at the other end. So I just have to every once in a while go like this. I think what I'm going to do is try and turn it from behind. Nope, that's not going to work either. So I'm going to bring the button down a little further and see if I can do it from there. So it's all experiment. It is starting to go. So let's take it out. It worked really well when I did it before, but I did it further down when things were getting really hard to do. So this, I just keep turning it. And I found this was easier for me to do. I have them kind of spread a little bit. And this is getting really tight. So these aren't that hard to make. Actually, this is getting really tight in the front. I'm waiting for that to snap like a twig. When you get that wiring too tight, it will break. All right, now let's try it for the last part. See if it'll let me do it. Because that's where I did it last time. I had it all the way down here. Something always seems to work for me prior to the show, does not work for me during the show for some reason. There. All right, that's pretty darn good. Then you take this, and if I can find the end, here it is. And you're going to put this all the way down. I'm going to wrap it around several times at the top because you want a little bit there. Okay, now I'm going to start going down. Now what I have to remember is not to do what I did last time, which was start to come back up. And this is going to take a little while because you're going down 12 inches. Now I don't think I would do this 24 inches again, but it depends upon what you're going to do with it. If you have a specific vase in mind that's really short, then you probably don't want to do this as long. But what I did was, when I was done, and you can see it here, I just folded it up so that this was out of my way, and then I put it in here. And I think this one is going much narrower than the other one did, which was, this will be easier for me to get the leaf on. Because the leaf, and the other ones, when you're doing the paper ones, they said use a paper puncher and punch a hole in it and then bring it up. But I just didn't like the look of it. So I just went out in my garage and pulled out a few flowers that I had and thought, well, that's what I'm going to do. There. Now I know I have enough to get all the way to the end. I hope. And see, it's coming, starting to unwind here. But that's what you can do with some of your pretty buttons. If you have a whole bunch of, and this is not a bad children's, well, not real little because of the wire. But I would think some older kids could do this as a project. And then I'm going to go on and then this is where I came back up a little bit. And I'm going to cut this. 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 And Okay. Now, here's my leaves. And they want you to have 2 leaves. And I'm supposed to go all the way to the top up here. This is where the leaves are going, way up there. But because I'm doing this different, a hole puncher is not going to work. So I'm getting an this is a punch also, but it was more for, I don't know what they used to use that for. I used it for book arts, for punching holes into things. They said I needed one of these, and I go, oh, I think I have one from way, way, way back when. Wasn't even mine. I think I'm the 3rd generation person to have that. I just call it a punch. I'm sure there's a fancy dancy name for it. Okay, here's the first one. See how nice that looks? A lot better than a pretend leaf. Then I'm punching the hole in again on this one. I think I'll make it a little larger. And I don't know if you can see it, but it is in there. And it's to the one side of where the stem is. It's not exactly centered. All right. Now I have these 2 there. The stem here, and I'm going to bring those down. You can see that I'm holding them, like right down in here. And then I'm going to use this. Whoops. And I'm going to cut a piece off so I don't end up with that same issue. And I'm going to bring both of them, one on either side. Bring it up. Come on, get up. Up, up, up. There we go. That stem up, that one down. There we go. Now the other one of the stems broke off. Yeah, this one, I want it over a little bit more. There we go. And I'm going to make sure it goes down. And here's my second one. And the leaves don't have to be always on either side. They can be just like this. They can be on the same side. It doesn't matter. Then I'm going to fold this in half. Not in half, but down in here. And I'll put that in here. So this is our project for today. And I hope you enjoyed it. And, well, that's all there is for Mary's Eclectic Interest. But I'm going to do another button project in a few minutes, so hold on. This next project, we'll be making these little pinwheel. There's a little button in the middle, and all it is felt and material and stitch witchery. And of course, one of these ponytail elastics that you get in the store. And you're not going to sew. You're going to use a stitch witchery, and that will fuse the 2 pieces of material together, like this. This original one is 4 by 4, and this ends up, because you're going to end up cutting off a whole inch, so there will be an inch being cut off. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to be fusing this together, and instead of using a towel, I'm just going to use a larger piece of material. So I have this way up high. Cotton is the highest one. So I need to get this to adhere so it'll stay together and be like this. And when I cut these into 4x4s, you can just measure them, or if you have the cutting board like I had it on the opposite side before. Ow, this is hot. Now I'm going to make sure that this actually went. Yes. I brought in a small little cutting board with the numbers on it. And I am going to be using a wheel cutter and a metal ruler. Cut this down. So again, I want it 3 inches by 3 inches. And I'm not going to go up on the top of this. I'm going to go down here, get it set up. I'm going to take 1 inch off, and I won't need anything for that. I'm just going to use, and this is what's hard, is that if it shifts, you could cut wrong. So let's, whoops, get me out of there. Okay, so I'm going to just cut this using the cutting board and setting it on here. And then I have cork on the back of this metal ruler, which keeps it from sliding. And I'm going to put it here and find the other line there. And I'm going to cut this off. And hope I don't slip. Almost. I always seem to have one little spot, see, that didn't go. So I'm going to, there, cut it with this. Now I'm going to turn this way and do the same thing. I only need 3 inches. And I'm going to do the exact same thing without putting any markings on it. And hopefully I will be doing it right, because I'm not good with this stuff. And I have a tendency to do it wrong several times before getting it right. All right, let's see. Hopefully it's 3 inches by 3 inches. 3 inches, a little under. Nope, 3 inches by 3 inches. Good. Now I can get rid of this, the cutter. And this is where I'm going to be taking the back part of where the felt is. And I'm going to draw a line from here, from one corner to the opposite corner. And like I said, I do not have chalk. The chalk would wipe away. I don't have that. So I'm just going to do the best. I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need it. There. And I'm going to do the best I can. I don't think the pencil's going to work. Let's see if it will. So I don't need a deep line. Oh, good. Pencil worked pretty good. That's better than what I used when I did it first, which was a Sharpie. Now I have my side-by-side markings here and here. Now I have to measure from the center, the very center, 1/3 of the way to the edge. And that's where you're going to be cutting. So what I did is I measured that out earlier. Yes, I found my little note. 5/8 of an inch I have to measure. 5/8 of an inch. All right, let's do it. I'm going to put this in the middle. And I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. And put a little cross mark there. And this is going to be all the way around. I'm going to do this. This is one of the few ones that I've actually followed the instructions. I shouldn't say that. I'll probably do something different. And that's all there is. Then I'm going to cut from the very end up to that mark that I just made. So you can see I'm cutting this right here. And I have to do it in all 4 tips, edges of the square. Okay, now I have that done. And this is what happens when you fold one section in. See how pretty that shows up? But I need to get some thread, and that's this. Last time I was running out of thread, so I think I had better make it a little longer this time. I took a needle with a big eye in it so that I would have no problems getting it through, because it doesn't matter as long as it'll go through your button. That's the main thing that matters. So why should I sit there and fight with a little tiny, you know, a needle that's so small that you can't see where to thread it? Get that even. There. I'm just going to take one of these corners and I'm going to put the knot inside so I don't have it on the outside. And then I can trim this down a little bit more. There we go. And I'm just going to put this one in here. And I think I just put that a little too far up, so maybe I can bring it down a little bit further. I'm hoping the button will go over it. And this is the first one. Okay, that's the first one. And I'm just going to go right into this little corner here. Bring it over. And here comes the last one. Now I have all of these done. You can see how it looks. Next, I have to put the button in here. And I have to coordinate it with this on the back. Now these are 4-hole buttons. And you want 4-hole buttons. So I'm just going to hold this here. And what I'm going to do is keep my eyes on the button in here. Go around the button a couple times. I'm going to go back through here and go back and forth and make sure And this, I'm telling you, it is. I don't know why it is doing that. Okay, we're going to have to start this all over. Okay, this is supposed to go in and cut. You know, I might just rip this all out and start it all over. There. Okay, this time it went underneath like it was supposed to. And this, I'm going to do it one more time. Make sure that it's in there good. And then I'm going to come back up on the side over here. Actually, I'm just going to tie it off in the back. I'm going to use this to push it through. Okay, I did one knot. I'm going to wrap it around the button. And then I'm going to knot it underneath the button. And of course it came off the needle. That didn't help very much, did it? In case you're wondering, I have 2 strings here because I had to cut it again. But that's okay. This is not going to come off by the time I'm done with it. Here they are. And like I said, the first one I did, my sample one, without a hitch. I go and do it for the show and things just go wrong. So thank you for watching Mary's Eclectic Interests. Take care, stay safe, and don't be afraid to, experiment. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And things go wrong, well, maybe you can find a solution. So take care. Bye.